going to record. I don't have a major topic today per se. It's been a minute. Obviously, we weren't on last week. We had to, cancel the call because Roger and I were out of pocket. But I did want to open up today with a little bit of a kind of get a feel, see what you guys got going on, who's working on what. Some of the ones that I've had a lot of conversations with, they're not on the call today. So I'll kind of go around the horn and throw it out. I'm going to start first so that I can actually introduce her. Some of you guys that were in Phoenix got a chance to meet Taylor during the event. Since the event, she's also come on board and is now with REI Toolbox. And we are in the process of getting her stuff going live. Taylor, you're going to be happy. I forced the team to change a bunch of shit. That was my bad. We were out of pocket last week. They tried to just take off and run, and we skipped a step because Roger and I were out of pocket, and they wanted to try to get you live as fast as possible. But you are going to like what they are recreating much better than what you originally saw. So
okay, cool.
First, let me introduce Taylor to everybody here. And then Taylor, if you want, share a little bit just on who you are, your background, market, what you guys are doing, and that kind of stuff.
Okay. Well, hi everybody. Glad to be here. So my background is actually in tax and accounting. I worked there. I worked in a tax and accounting office for about 4 years. And then I feel like I had like a midlife crisis. I was like, I am not passionate about this. I cannot sit behind a computer anymore. And I knew that I loved like refinishing furniture and working out in the garage. I was like, I want to flip a house. And that's kind of what sparked the idea. So I flipped my first mobile home while I was in transition out of that job. I quit May of 2022. And then I flipped a few mobile homes up to this point. And right now I'm looking at doing burrs out of state, some buy and holds. I actually have a property under contract right now that I'm seeking private money for. If anyone is interested in a private money lending opportunity, I have a proposal to send you. And that's in Augusta, Georgia. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. And then of course, with Shawn narrowing down what my specialty is going to be here in Phoenix, so that way I can focus my marketing here in my local market, because that's where I'm from, is Phoenix, Arizona. So
Sweet. Does anybody have any questions for Taylor before I move on? I love the fact that she's she came to me and said, I don't want to get away from mobile homes, but I want to get away from mobile homes. And I actually like the idea. Matter of fact, there's a pretty large name in the Phoenix market, Taylor, that I had a conversation with last night, who is looking to buy a mobile home park. So if you got a lead on that, I've already got your buyer for you.
okay, good to know.
So, he wants to buy an entire mobile home park. He's actually got a pretty interesting idea. Buy an entire mobile home park, convert it into in-house senior care style, where they could move them in, have nurses on staff, build the entire piece out. It was a pretty interesting model that he's got in his mind. So
that's very cool.
Cool. All right. Well, with that, I'm going to kind of go round robin. And for those of you guys that just jumped on, I said Giselle got on. Jordan, what's up, my man? I'm going to go around the horn real quick and see what do you guys got going? What are you working on? Who needs some help with some stuff? There isn't a specific topic per se today, mainly because I'm running that webinar next week. Some of you guys, by the way, I'll make that announcement right now. You registered for the webinar. You probably saw another message come out for me today. For those that had already registered, Shawn made a ginormous mistake. I didn't realize it until late last night. I scheduled the webinar for dead smack in the middle of a charity event I'm supposed to be at for the Boys and Girls Club on Monday. So instead, I'm moving the webinar to Thursday. I will be in the Virgin Islands during that time, so I will be doing the webinar from there instead of up here in the office. But regardless, the webinar is going to happen. We're just moving it to a different day next week. We good with that? For those of you guys that registered, some of you guys said, yeah, you got the message. If you have not registered yet, all that changed was the date and time. It's now happening on Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern time instead of Monday at 3 p.m. If you haven't heard about it, you could either send me a message or check your email, because chances are you got an email or two from me on it already. So with that, I'm gonna let these two numbnuts get started, because today's the first time they're actually spending time together in their office, I heard.
We're not in the office today. We are actually at home. We just got done 2 back-to-back closings, and now they're going to taste wedding food. And I'm going to stay here with you guys because I like you better.
I think I'd rather stay here with me than taste wedding food too.
Yeah, me ribeye.
So what do you got going on? What do you need? Do you need any help right now? Anything that the group can get out of today?
Well, we closed 2 today. One was 30 grand, one was 4 grand. We had some fun closings. You'll see that on Facebook here and whenever this call's over. And we've got 2 landlord deals going on. One's 40 units spaced out on what, 12 buildings.
Mm-hmm.
And then so we're pounding tired landlord campaign with our SEO. You guys are, you're doing our blogs for us. So that is resonating throughout our county pretty good. We got another call yesterday. It's 38 units. I think there's 15 buildings, a lot of single family. Then there's a 10-unit building, a 4 or 6. They're all over the place. So we're hunting them down and running spreadsheets and doing our analysis on them, and we're buying them all. So what we need help with is dinero. Probably going to be some owner finance terms in there too. We'll probably need to pay like 10 or 15% down. But
you guys have recently, maybe share with everybody, since coming out of that Phoenix event, there was a topic we talked about. For those of you guys that were there, we talked a lot about leveraging more of an omni-channel approach, right? Multi-channel.
He said that today. He said, or
man.
yesterday, he's like, how'd this deal come? And he said, omnipresence.
Like when you put your lead in there, like your contact, and you create the opportunity in Lead Vault, it says lead source, and I put omnipresence, and I was like, he said Shawn will get a kick out of that.
Did this person get a piece of thing in the mail?
No.
Yet they're not on that route.
No, but that I did send that mailer thing out, and I got my first appointment yesterday from the direct mail stuff.
We did what is it called? EDM. It's
Every door direct, EDDM.
So the postman gets every freaking house on his route. I'm sure he'll love this. He's got to stop at every house with a satchel.
6 by 9, like a big ass postcard, like
This
big.
size
It's
right here.
big postcard.
Yeah, there you go.
So since coming out of the Phoenix event, they Jordan and Jacob reached out. Actually, the week that we were there after, Jordan and I got this all set up for them. They were ready to rock and roll. They got their dope account fired up and going. And Jordan, I think it was Jacob last week, right? Decided he was going through and he was playing with the Every Door direct mail functionality in there. Found a route where he was like, "Holy crap! This route like goes right up. We love everything about these streets that this particular mail carrier's route is on." Picked a postcard and launched a Every Door direct mail, which means when that goes out, once it was all bundled up, boom, sent. Every single house on that route gets one of those postcards. And it sounds like you guys already got a lead back in from that.
Yep, on a good streak that we like. So
did they call you directly? Did they come back to the website? How did break that down, if you know?
That would probably be a Jacob question. I'm sure they called. Jacob, how'd they get a hold of you? The Daniels.
They went directly to our website.
Oh yeah.
And the mailer was routed to our
Probably our How It Works page.
Which
the
was the
QR
page
code.
that you and I spent a lot of time that week dialing in, right?
Yep. And so they hit the QR code. It takes them to the How It Works. There's a nice video on there, and then the form. They filled out the form. Our whole team gets a text, "Hey, you got a new seller lead." And then at that point, Jacob pretty much picks up the phone, calls them, and tries to set up an appointment as soon as possible. So systematically, it's working very, very, very well.
real quick, back of the envelope numbers, and I have no idea what these numbers are. So let's see. If this deal comes to fruition, if you're able to lock this thing up and do something with it, what's the potential profit on the deal?
We haven't seen the house yet, so we don't exactly have a repair estimate on it. But in that neighborhood, you're probably talking about $100 to $135,000 houses. I have not done any. This is Jacob's part of it. I haven't done any research on it. But yeah, we're gonna make 20 or 30 grand, or we're gonna keep it as
That's
a
what I was
rental.
looking for. What's the typical profit on a deal roughly in that area that you know of average? I know you got a lot of details to get through first.
Right. Flip, we're shooting for 20 to 30 grand. More likely that's an area that we like to keep in. So rental property, and it pays you forever until you decide to sell it.
What kind of cash flow could potentially be sitting out there on the rental side?
You're looking $900 to $1,000 in rent. We pretty much get between $200 and $450 a door.
Yeah. So if we were buy and hold this thing, we probably are looking at a 250, 400, somewhere in that range. Cash flow. If we flip this thing, we're probably looking at like $20,000 profit coming in. Any idea what the EDDM campaign cost you?
$500 maybe.
How many would be okay spending $500 to create, a couple $100 consistent month cash flow or potential $20,000 flip?
Easy math.
Very easy math, right? So I love it. I love hearing that. I'll be 100% honest with you guys. I actually told Jacob when he told me that he was launching the EDDM, I cautioned him against it. I said, don't use that in the future. He sold me on the fact that, no, I absolutely love the exact route that this was on. That's why I selected it. I was a little skeptical because I was afraid we were going to spend too much on pointless stuff, right? Instead of getting too targeted. Thank you for proving me wrong, Jacob.
I mean, I'm sure
it wasn't too much either. I mean, if you get one lead from that route, like that campaign paid for itself. So
I love it.
Even if it's a wholesale, we'd probably make 10 or 15 there too. But that, like I said, that's an area we like to keep. And really, I think those postcards probably didn't even hit the street until Monday. So we got our first lead Monday. He called right away. It's only Wednesday. Who knows what's coming in over the next couple of weeks? It'll sit on somebody's kitchen countertop for a little while until they get around to digging into it a little bit,
I love that it came through the website though. It just shows, right? We already know they're doing it. It's just when they finally tell us, or when it comes in that way, it's a confirmation that it's happening. And if you guys haven't seen the How It Works page, because Jordan did spend a lot of time, he and I, that week that we were there, spent quite a bit of time one day sitting by the pool, readjusting. Roger built some stuff for them. We kind of really built it out. They got a lot of their assets together for it. Go check out their website, buildingappalachia.com. And
I'll put the direct link to that page in the chat box for you guys.
Yeah. So for some of you guys that haven't put much work into it, that's another example. I know I point out Chris and Sal's quite a bit. I've pointed out Jacob Marie's quite a bit. This is yet another one that I would encourage you to take a look at it, mimic it, model it, see what they've done, the video. I absolutely love the video that Jacob did.
It's kind of funny that video was built for a blog post that you guys did for us. And I was like, dude, we've got an image for that and everything. And I just threw him up in front of a whiteboard one day and hit play and let him do his thing. He hates seeing himself on camera, but it works. So
yeah, it's an awesome video. If nothing more, I'd encourage you to go watch it because Jacob does a really good job breaking down some details and numbers and really explaining why selling to Building Appalachia versus going to the MLS, with a traditional agent is much better, right? Sweet. All right. Well, you guys set the bar pretty high, so now nobody's going to want to share anything. They're all going to sit there and say, I don't have anything to talk about. Does anybody have any questions for Jordan and Jacob, though? I'll open up the floor.
This is a snowball effect over time, too. So you got to realize that as well. We're not new into this.
Matter of fact, I talked to somebody that's your competition earlier today.
Question on the mail that you did. Was that just a one touch for everybody in that neighborhood, or did you set it up to do multiple touches?
that is actually one touch. So I didn't build like a campaign for it. So you can set that up to do it like once a week or once every 2 or 3 weeks or once a month, whatever. But that's just something I tried. Like, in a couple weeks, I was probably going to go back in and make another postcard and touch the same route again. Just dripping like a drip campaign over time. But that particular one, I only did the one time.
Did you
I
say
spent
how
like, I
many
think it was like
people were in that route?
it works out to be about, I think it's like 50 cents or something like that per card.
No, how many people were in that route?
But that, I'm trying to do the math. It's about 500, I think. 500, 600. It was about $300 that we spent on the campaign or the mailer.
I'll see if I can bring it up and get that answered for you.
And every route, when you guys, if you guys launch your dope account and you're playing with the EDDM, you actually can click on the route and it'll show you how many homes are on that particular route. You can add multiple routes to the campaign. It doesn't always have to be just one singular route to it.
Yeah, I'm pretty frugal as far as spending the money. So like I saw the street and I was like, dag on, let's just try this one right now. But hell, it worked. So
I
we'll see.
looked into it when it first came out many years ago. And it was so cumbersome to do because you had to have I don't know what you call it, the insignia thing on everything. And there was nobody like really doing it to make it automatic.
Yep. So that's one of the perks with the Dope platform and our partnership with Dope. This is all built in to it. As you guys can see, Jordan's sharing his screen right now. This was the route that they selected. So Lauren, what you've experienced in the past, right? You had to select the route, but then there was all these requirements, and then you had to stack them a certain way, and you had to make sure everything was late, and then you had to take it to the post office and hand it to them. And if it wasn't done correctly, they weren't going to deliver it, right?
Yep.
Part of the automation with inside of Dope, you select the route, you set everything up, you pick the image that you want to use, you hit continue and process, and their automated system takes care of all the heavy lifting. They do all the sorting, they do all the organizing, they do all the stacking, they make sure it gets delivered. Jacob and Jordan, you guys should have actually got a notification when the post office received it. And then that should have given you the heads up that probably within the next couple of days it was going out in the mail.
Yeah, so here's the route. It hit 405 homes. It cost like $238, and I'm looking for Daniels. The lead came in on this street right here. So
Right on the corner.
right on the corner.
Are they labeled as resident or are they like individual named?
So you can import a list into that if you wanted to, and it will come in with their name on it. You can do the specific fields in it. But I didn't import the list. You can't do that with the EDDM because that's just choosing the route. But you can do some filters in there, like to differentiate from sending to commercial residents versus residential stuff. And you can also put some other like filters on in there as well, which I mean, it raises your cost per mailer just a hair by a few cents. But if you're, only sending to houses that are built after 1940 and half of them are older than that, the 9 cents, it'll save you in the long run.
Yeah,
What Jordan's talking or Jacob's talking about is the difference between the neighborhood blitz function versus EDDM. EDDM, you don't really have much of a control. So Bob, it's going to come in as resident, right? Because it's just blanketed. It's going to every single house on that route. But we could use the neighborhood blitz, and since they know they like that area, they could go in and go into the neighborhood blitz, pop an address in, draw, diagram, and only target certain streets in that area, and then start setting parameters. Hey, I only want houses in this particular area that are built after 1940s, that are, up to X number of square feet, owned for this long, last sold by, between these dates, that kind of thing. Start setting some parameters around it. And yes, your cost goes up because you're paying to have that filtration put into it. But now we're hyper targeting. So a little bit different than EDDM, right? EDDM is just every single house on that mail route is going to get this. Versus go in neighborhood blitz where I'm getting super targeted. And I can hone in some things. So a couple different functionalities inside there. Okay. If you guys are curious more about dope, those of you that aren't on it yet, just hit me up. We can jump on a call. I can walk you through the software, show you. We can see what it's like. I can go over all the details on how you can also have access to dope and all the parameters around it. It's like 69 cents a postcard to be automated and fired off, no minimums. So if you want to send 2 postcards out, send 2 postcards. You know, send 500, send 500. Okay.
Yeah, and one of our goals coming out of the Investor Harvest event was to pay for our entire year marketing off of the one of our first deals. So if you can land a wholesale deal, 5, 10, 15 grand, that's kind of the average here. Then it just paid for our whole year of blasting these postcards out, right? So how many deals how many deals are going to come from this one tool that we're using?
I was just talking to Marie and Jake about this actually.
And that was our
campaign that we were building out for them and discussing some stuff. It's like the ideal number is 60,000 annually for the level of marketing they want to do. Well, one flip in their market could easily cover 60, 70,000. So if we could allocate that 60 grand at the start of the year, know that, hey, $60,000, $70,000, boom, it's already set. That's our marketing budget for the year. Now we can start to build campaigns. We can employ tactics. We can, deploy that campaign budget the way that it makes sense to deploy to keep bringing in more and more opportunities. So. Cool. All right, Lauren, you got anything specific? I'm just going to go around the horn. However, you guys are on my screen. If you don't have anything, don't feel forced. But got questions or thoughts or something you want to share?
The I have to share is I did get one lead off of my website last week. But I don't know how this happened, but it's a realtor deal, not a investor deal. Some buyer called me, so I'm having them pre-qualified. I'll hand them off to somebody else because I don't do buyers. But it'll be a referral commission nonetheless.
She doesn't do buyers, bougie.
I don't have patience to deal with people like that.
Yeah, but you're still finding a way to monetize it.
Yeah, I only do the realtor work when it's a listing, and if it's anything else, I refer it and just take the referral fee.
There we go.
Yeah, but that's all that I had new that's related to you guys.
Yeah. Kurt, you're next on my screen. Got anything going? Got any questions?
We've just been adding pre-foreclosures, so we're waiting to see what kind of response we get to that. We've been my wife and I like doing driving for dollars, so we've always got a driving for dollars direct mail campaign going on, and we do some probate. We don't get much from the people in probate. I think a lot of it's because they're elderly. They just soon pick up the phone and call us, so we get a pretty good response. Or the responses we get are pretty exclusively telephonic, not through the email. Doing the numbers crunching, the ones that are the calls that we're getting are about 2.8 touches on average. So we've got 4 touch campaigns and we've got 6 touch campaigns. Mm-hmm. And we're kind of trying to tweak it. We're tweaking the language and the letters, and so we're the little tweaks we've been making over the last 2 months or so are starting to get us a little bit more response, and we're getting an idea of what it's costing us per touch, and it's not going to, and that's one of the reasons I asked the question about how many postcards were going out on that is just the number of touches, because we've all heard if we've been doing this for a while that just one touch isn't going to do it. There's got to be multiple touches, and like I said, the responses we're getting are typically about 2.8. The ones that contact us on average have been 2.8 touches. So we're tweaking things. We're adding one niche to do some marketing in, and we'll see how it goes, but we're just grinding away.
Awesome.
And it's helping. I mean, we're probably making about 8 offers a week now. We still got people that are coming in and bidding crazy amounts. So I mean, one that we talked to on Monday actually, not only was our bid not close, their bid was $14,000 over Zillow. And that's without the work that needed to be done or anything else. So, I mean, it's hard to beat people that are making those offers.
I've always said it for years. I don't need to chase the idiots. I'll let the idiots run themselves out of town.
Yeah, and good on the sellers for getting that, if they get it. But
100%.
we've started to add another touch because we know that, you know, a good percentage of things, especially if you're going through a wholesaler who hasn't done his numbers right, and we know that they're out there, that deal may fall through. So we're adding another touch to go back and do a follow-up with them.
Yep. Awesome. Let's see. Eileen, you're on. Your camera's black. I don't know if you're able to talk or not.
I am.
Perfect. You got anything for the group? Anything you want to share? Any questions you got? Any help you need?
Yeah, I've got some elementary questions, I do believe, to send a link for someone to provide a review on your website. What do I send? I actually looked on it well. You know, I mean, I looked on it to see what I thought. So
They're not actually going to write a review on your website. You're going to drive those reviews to your Google business profile.
that's what I thought. Okay.
So
Yeah.
give me a second. I'll share my screen over here.
I thought it was through that, but then I wasn't sure about that. So
Here's another one I can put some insight into. Jacob's awesome at this. He just did it twice at the closing. We get him laughing in the closing, right? Make some jokes, make it a enjoyable experience. And at the end, as they're walking out the door, hey, remember,
yeah.
got a good experience with us. Just Google our company, Building Appalachia, whatever company is, and write us a little couple reviews, your honest opinion, you know, and they do it every single time. Like, you just got to ask. You got to be bold enough to ask for it.
Yeah,
Now,
that's what I was going to ask, was the realtor from the last closing.
he even hit our tenant with it today. She's like, hey, who can do some yard care? And we just sent her a phone number, and Jacob goes, hey, and if you love us, write us a review. And she just did. So just ask everybody.
So, Eileen, and if you want to be able to have the link to send, right, just search your name, right? You can see here, I searched REI Toolbox. Here's our profile. And as you scroll down right here, to get more reviews, all you got to do is click this right here and this link right here.
Okay.
That's the link that you want to copy. Send them that link. And then what it does when they click on that link, ideally you want to tell them to make sure they're not. So real quick on the reviews thing, we've been seeing this more and more and more. I don't know if it's been impacting some of the other industries, but it has been impacting on the real estate side. Some of you guys on this call have experienced this. I think, Lauren, you're one of them. Reviews not sticking, right? Somebody leaves it, but it doesn't stick. We have zero control over that. That is 100% Google and what they want to do. But what we have noticed that seems to make them stick better is ask that person, when they click on that link that you send them, it's going to open up to a page. And if they have a Google account, a Gmail type account, it's going to have a little like drop down piece for them to, it's going to show like this is what they're logged in as. If they have a business one, like a lot of us, we have our business emails through G Suite. So even though it's Shawn at reitoolbox.com, that's actually hosted by Google, that's a Google account. Well, what has been working better to get them to stick is by logging in under the personal ones. When I've left reviews for people, I actually make sure I'm logged in at my my personal Gmail account, shawn.tiberio@gmail.com, the email address that I never check. It's really my spam email. And for some reason, that one is sticking. But when we write reviews under business profiles and attached to a business email address, they're not sticking as well. And I know some of you guys have tried, hey, that person said they used their personal and it still doesn't stick. Again, we have no control over that. It's been really weird. We had a client last week that got like 7 reviews, none of them stuck. Roger wrote a review, I wrote a review, and both of those stuck. But the 7 previous didn't stick. And it was just like, nothing we can do, on that. I think it also comes down to if that person has never, ever, ever, ever left a review in their life, there's probably a higher chance of Google cutting them out, because it's like, well, how accurate is this, person? We got to love Google, but we also got to hate them at times, right? They are doing their job. They're trying to clean things up. They're trying to stop the spammy, bot reviews of people just going and buying them and having a bunch of fake reviews being put there. But at the same time, that it creates some frustration. So, but Eileen, that's the easy way of doing it. Google your business. As long as you've got a Google business profile, you've got it verified.
Right.
It'll show up on there. Get that link for more reviews. Send it off. My Lead Vault users on the call. If you guys are utilizing Lead Vault, our CRM platform, you actually have a way from inside the CRM to send out a review request as well. If you're a Lead Vault user and you need help with that, reach out. I'll shoot you a quick video and send it over. Show you how to do that one.
Okay, thank you. Now when they fill out the form on the website, then we are supposed to get emails on that.
It depends how we built it for you when we originally built your stuff. If you had a CRM, chances are we've tied that to your CRM so that information would dump into there. If you didn't have a CRM, then most of the time we put an email address and that fires over to the
Right.
email.
Right. Okay. Just checking.
Yep.
Thank you.
Cool. And you guys moved around, so I'm going to bounce back. Tony, you were next on my screen, and then you guys moved. Not your fault, my fault.
Okay, been working on a couple things. Since I guess the end of last week and a couple days this week, worked with Jake on writing an offer to somebody with multiple properties on the MLS. He told me I need to lower my offer. In other words, I based it based on what the guy was offering in the MLS, and he said bring it down. And so I'm gonna work on that and have a simpler letter of intent to give to my realtor and go from there. So hopefully by today's Wednesday, by Friday I'll have something to her. That's one. And the other thing I've been working on, I worked on a probate pamphlet to send out. It's a really nice pamphlet. I wound up on Monday, I wound up visiting a lawyer because of I wanted to make sure my trust was in reasonable order, and I showed him my pamphlet, and he liked it, and so so we'll see.
Cool. Terry, you're next. How's it going?
Good afternoon.
What you got going?
Thank God the rain hopefully will stop here. Trying to get our ground up painted and landscaping done for the last several weeks. That's one we pre-sold, so we're trying to get that off the books. Our other one, the big multi-million-dollar thing, where at least guys are working inside.
I think we lost Terry.
Another question on reviews. Hello.
You're good. Now I hear you.
Okay. All right. We're trying to, everybody loves the stuff we sell them or our service. If they need help, we come back immediately, take care of it. But man, we're bribing them with gift cards and everything, and nobody will write. We're having struggle in getting reviews. Is like the Podium or Podio? Something came up on my phone the other day that helps with soliciting reviews. Is that any of these programs worth that, or just
no program at the end of the day is going to really help, in my opinion, get the reviews. Reviews it's always about timing. I love, Jordan, you were just explaining, Jacob, you guys do a really good job of this, right? Hitting them at that right moment to do it. And if you're noticing that, hey, we send them we send them the link and they won't take the time to do it, whatever the case, it may require that, you know what, you hand the keys to this person. Tell them to grab their phone.
Yeah.
Don't go there and do it right then and there, right?
Okay.
Yeah, you got to do something for them. You got to buy their house, sell them a house, or rent them a house.
Yeah, we certainly, and thank God we haven't had many repairs on anything we've sold, but I mean, even a couple minor things, we'd go back immediately and take care of it. And they love us taking care of it. And we'll just have to do a better job going after.
It's definitely reciprocation. So like, it's kind of like I do something for you, you do something for me, and then back to the timing. So like, what right before we're buying these people's house, like it's an emotional time for them. They think this already, and like we haven't even say yet. And we just tell them how happy we are to help them. But I say, hey, but one more thing, when we do this, not today. If you want to do it today, that's fine. You get to the quoting table, I'm gonna have you leave me a review. And just give me however many stars you want. Just tell the truth. Like, what was your experience like with me? So just you kind of bring it up to them beforehand, and then if they haven't already, just like at the closing table, like it's kind of like those podium and stuff. They're going to keep emailing and put it in front of these people, but that's only going to do so much. It's like sometimes I'll actually take their phone and I'll say, hey, let me see your phone, and I'll just go to Google Building Appalachia, get it to the stars, turn it around to them and say, give me however many stars you think I deserve, and be honest in writing that review. And they'll do it right there in front of you. That's literally the only way you're going to make sure you get it from like the organic side of things. But that will actually work. Or like if you're coming back to somebody's house doing a repair or whatever that is, that's a perfect time for you to go back and do that then. Just say, hey, I may have forgot to mention this before, but it would really mean a lot to me if you would do this, especially, hey, here I am again, helping out. So try that angle.
All right, I get it.
I always say this, we've got like 200 and I think we're like 220 something clients right now. I sure as hell don't have 200 and something reviews. And I've asked all of our clients on a consistent basis. Some of you guys on this call haven't even left a review.
I just got a text from you about your thing next week too.
Well, it wasn't for me. It was for my automated system.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sean's trying to work three things simultaneously. All right, Bob, got anything?
Itchy back.
I can't help you there.
No, I'm still working on the refi out with this rental property, having some issues, have to get the roof problems taken care of before insurance will be covered here in Florida. So if you're buying anything in Florida, note to self, anything over 5 years to 7 years, plan to replace the roof or pay an exorbitant freaking fee for a 12-month term, minimum $2,700 so far.
Thank you, hurricanes.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Every insurance thing went up. That my car went up this year, and it's just myself, and I drive a little scooter, and it sucks.
I like how Bob says that, scooter.
Hey, car done me good. I got no complaints. But started working on my SOP stuff, and was talking with Dizzle about working the ChatGPT stuff. There's another one that I was working with that I forget what it is off the top of my head, but it's doesn't require anything. You can just type in a few things and it spits it out. It's not quite as fast as the ChatGPT, but it doesn't require any information at all either.
Yeah, there's a few new ones that have popped up the last couple weeks.
Yeah, and the GPT-4 is supposedly the new slice of bread. Apparently it cured cancer in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's a Roger thing.
Yeah.
That's all I got, man.
Cool. Lorraine, are you able to talk? I don't think she is. She normally would unmute pretty fast. All right. Well, with that, nobody really had anything specific. You guys have got some things going. Taylor, I'll kind of kick it back to you to finish off because I just had you more introduce. Is there any questions that you have to kind of get yourself starting that maybe the group or myself can help you with?
I guess I'm most curious, what subscription plan you all are on. Because of course my fear is that I'm going to spend money on this and time on this and I'm never going to get a lead. So I'm a little freaked out about that, especially because Phoenix is so saturated with investors. And so I'm like, okay, I see, Jordan and Jacob on Facebook, and I'm like, damn, they're killing it. But also they're in a very much smaller market, if I remember right. So I can't really compare, to them, and you guys are probably on a higher subscription than I would start on. So, yeah, I'd be curious to know information about that.
Jordan, you
I'll
want to
tell-
share on that? Because I think people compare where you guys are at today. I think that it's always been that way.
Yeah, no. So it's not always been that way. It's the snowball is rolling downhill really fast for us right now because of the dude. I've been with you for, he's my dad's life, but in his program for about 4 years, right?
Who's your
And
dad?
Shawn is.
Your real dad?
That's what we like to call it.
No.
Son, will you stop?
Okay, this is on a recording, so let's get back to business here.
Okay.
I'm not paying child support for that one.
Taking child support.
But I, for real, we started with them back in 2019 on the base level. So we had to do everything still, right? So you're gonna get on these trainings and you're gonna get a little nugget, and you're either gonna run with it and do something, or you're gonna do nothing and forget about it until the next time it comes up, right? They say the same shit to us every single call until a new product or something else that they're building comes up, right? But we've been hearing the majority of the things that they're telling us is the same, but you hear it over and over and over until you decide to do it, or you just decide to pay somebody else to do it. So we were on the base level package for like until recently. Now we're so busy that they've got to do our blogs and they've got to do our social media. I'm still going to get on there and do my cute little videos because I'm the face. We're the face of this thing. People have to see us. But the content that they create for us, the Facebook posts, the Instagram posts, directs back to our blogs, and we're building new pages on our website all the time. We're constantly putting new stuff in it. That's what helps the snowball grow. Time and repetition. So yeah, you got to decide for yourself what package you're going to buy, or pick some of these tools that we're using. Like we use the CRM because we've been through some crappy CRMs. We use their website because we've been through some crappy websites. And now we're using Dope, which I don't think you guys created, but you've partnered with somebody and we've already got a lead off of it. We're very, like Jacob said, we're very frugal because, well, we're just cheap asses, but we also are in a market that our margins aren't as high as everywhere else. We have to do volume. So volume is super important to us. And once we've learned that, that's why we're adding everything, layering everything on. It's a layer, it's a lasagna.
I think that's the
Okay.
key to take away from that. That's for everybody, right? I used to battle this like crazy, Northeast Ohio, Youngstown area, very, very similar to the Charleston, West Virginia area. A good flip. Like I'm talking like I'm running to the hills, celebrating, gonna go get a, 5-star steak dinner kind of reward was when we would crack 20,000 on a return, on a flip. But that was me doing like a $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 renovation to get to those levels. Because the margins, right? Price of a home, everything was so much smaller. And then I'd see people out west, I see people in other areas of the country, they do one flip and make 80, 90, 100,000. I'm over here doing 4 or 5 deals to their one from a profit standpoint, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, with that being said, that just meant I was able to find deals faster and easier. Why? Because shit was so cheap. My brother is literally in the process of negotiating a $1,000 purchase right now. Some of you guys are like 4,000. What? That's not even the taxes annually on the house in this market, right? But and you hear that and you're like, oh, I wish I had $4,000 homes to buy. But our profit margin on that thing, we'll be lucky if we make maybe like $5,000 or $8,000 when it's all said and done.
Same here. We're shitty flippers. Our margins suck. So now what do we focus on? We focus on wholesaling. If I can make 20 grand on a flip or 10 grand on a wholesale, flip takes 6 to 12 months, or I can dump it in a couple of months, and that's the better option. And we just cherry pick the good ones and keep them as rentals.
Mm-hmm.
The lighter renovations.
The other thing I'll add to that is, I don't know if there it is. Every form of marketing, I've got a little bit of, about 10 minutes left. Is it okay if I go into this a little deeper, or does somebody else have something else?
Do it.
do it. Thank you for your permission. Every form of marketing or every type of marketing out there really has its position in the buyer journey or in the funnel, right? So at the very top of our funnel, there is certain marketing that is designed to fill the top of our funnel. There's certain marketing that we want to deploy to hit the middle of our funnel. And then there's certain stuff that is really good for bottom of the funnel where the actual opportunity or deals are going to start to come from, right? Marketing is all about keeping the funnel full. Our process in which we take those leads through and filter them out and find the gems and find the ones that we can work with. In a smaller market like a Charleston, West Virginia, the boys are able to pretty much make a deal out of everything. Whereas in Phoenix, Taylor, you probably aren't going to be able to look at every opportunity that comes across your desk and find an exit for it or find a way to make it work, right? Difference is you don't need to in that market because I've had this conversation with Terry a few times. He's in Carlsbad, San Diego area, right? Very high price point. He does a couple deals a year. He makes a nice little, profit per deal. He's golden. He's good. Jordan and Jacob would probably have to do about 100 deals to Terry's 2 or 3 if we looked at revenue. Does that make sense so far? So when we look at the buyer journey, when we look at marketing, when we look at the different tactics, a lot of the stuff that we talk about are a lot of the stuff that Roger and I focus on in our basic packages, right? That foundational level package that most of you guys either get started on or are on, something like that. It's really to help fill this, the top of the funnel. SEO is not a lead generator. SEO is a traffic generator. Search engine optimization. It's designed to optimize your content, your brand for the search so that when people are searching, because we already know they're searching for these terms, there's tools out there that tell us exactly how many times a month a specific keyword is searched for. There's a person on this call right now. It's a good friend of mine. Her and I and Roger were jumping on a call the other day. We're trying to help her with one of her clients. And we were just looking from an SEO standpoint, and we were finding in search terms that if we just help them move the needle, right? SEO, we just help them optimize for some of these searches, they had the potential to have 2, 3, 4, 5,000 more views on their stuff a month. Well, let's take it offline for a second. SEO digitally offline is like I'm saying, hey guys, I have a way for you to have 5,000 more billboards in your town. Well, if you had 5,000 billboards all over Phoenix, you think people are going to recognize who you are, Taylor, at some point?
I'd say, yeah.
Yeah. Right? What if we had 10,000 billboards?
Yeah.
That's SEO, right? SEO is nothing more than a building block. It's like I'm building a brick wall. And I've got my different bricks and I'm stacking them up. The longer I play the SEO game, the bigger my wall gets, the stronger my wall gets because I got more bricks, which means I got more assets out there in the digital space, more opportunities to show up for different keywords, so on and so forth. So the SEO game is really designed to fill the top of the funnel, get eyeballs paying attention to us and come in. Now, when we start getting into the middle and the bottom parts of our funnel, this is where we could use direct mail, right? Postcards is another way to fill our top, but direct mail can also be tied in to the middle, and it can also be tied into the bottom of our funnel just by changing the message. What I say on that postcard based on where they're at in the journey. Why did the postcard that Jordan and Jacob sent out happen to get this one person so far to call them back? That person was already right here. They were already in the bottom of a funnel, bottom of the journey, ready to make a decision, ready to reach out and get information. And that postcard happened to be the one that made them pick up the phone and call them. Right place, right time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as we go through and to what Jordan was saying, you're going to start showing up on these calls, and this is what everybody, consistently experiences. You guys get on these each week. When we talk about different stuff, you're going to start to realize that tactics, it's on here somewhere. I did this a couple weeks ago. I never erased my boards for you guys.
Dude, we're definitely getting a vibe board at this rate too, by the way. That was on Jacob's 90-day reward plan there.
There it is right here. We did this call a couple weeks ago, right? And I talked about getting noisy, right? Our whole job, Taylor, you remember I talked about this in Phoenix. Our whole job is to find opportunities, close opportunities, find opportunities, close opportunities, right? Well, how do we find it? We get noisy. We get noisy with our marketing. And we talked about some different tactics. What are the tactics of marketing? Well, we got social media, we got networking, we've got content marketing, we've got leveraging reviews, we've got referrals, we got direct mail, we've got text, email, radio, PPC, signage, home shows. We started making this big list. Every one of these tactics are great. When we layer them and use them in conjunction with each other to make sure that we have what I wrote down here, omnipresence, everywhere, all the time, that's when we start to really take it from tactic to campaign. And this is actually what my webinar next week is going to be on, what we call the max traffic formula, and how we layer different marketing pieces, because it's not one type of marketing that's going to do it all. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So where you're getting started right now is really, we're helping you get dialed in right here. We're helping you build the foundation for the top of your funnel. Because just getting them onto the website, getting them onto a blog page, getting them onto a service page, right? Getting them onto a location page. Phoenix is huge. I can't just say I'm in Phoenix. I got to speak to all the different little suburbs and areas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Getting them to that area, that once I get them there, I've only got them into the top end of this funnel. I'm just bringing awareness to them. And it's what happens from there. It's how we continue to move them through. It's how we capture information and move them through. We know they're going to continue to do research. So if we've got more blocks, we were increasing more opportunities for them to get there. So for you, I'd say I wouldn't worry too much like what package is everybody on, because everybody's gotten started at different areas. Also depending on budgets. Can this speed up if your budget's bigger? 100%. Jordan and Jacob are a great example right now on this call, because they got started, they were like scraping pennies. Hell, Jordan went back to work full time and then still quit a second time in this last 4 years. Could they have been a lot farther down the track had they had, the budget that they could play with today 4 years ago? 100%. They didn't. So they had to strap a lot of this on their back and get going. And where they found success was exactly what Jordan said, getting on these calls, finding a tiny little nugget this week, and then boom, they'd immediately take action on it. They'd implement
When
it.
you, from the beginning, from the jump? Or
Hell
did it take-
no. I didn't do
Okay.
shit the first year probably because I was like,
Okay.
fuck it, I gotta just get out there and do Facebook Lives and that'll work. No, it didn't work. And then I was like, all right, I'll listen to my dad and we'll just do what he says. Now I do what he says all the time, even if I don't like it.
Okay.
At
Then
least call him your surrogate father.
Then I just come back to him and I go, hey, who's your daddy? That
This
help a little
video
bit,
has
Taylor?
now stopped recording.
No, I leave.
Yeah,
that
no,
one.
that helps.
Perfect. All right. Well, it is the top of the hour. I do want to respect everybody's time.